Alright, so let's take a look at this drone. It is a Potensic Atom with the 3-axis gimbal. Potensic has other drones in the Atom line, but this is the one with the 3-axis gimbal. But yeah, actually we don't even need to unbox this because I already did. And inside the box is this bag right here. This particular one is the Fly More combo. In drone speak, it is the package that comes with extra batteries and propellers and other stuff like that. But anyways, in this bag here, what you have is obviously the drone itself, which is actually quite small if it's your first time having playing with a drone. And then the controller for the drone. Okay. Then you have this battery charger plus 3 batteries. Again, this is the Fly More, so it comes with 3 batteries. And then obviously the charger, the adapter for the charger. This is actually pretty decent. It's 60 watts. So, and then you have a USB cable here. You can plug the USB cable to the controller, so you can charge the controller and all the batteries all at once. So that's pretty neat. And that's the main stuff. Then you have all this smaller stuff here. Again, you have more USB cables here. These are to plug in the phone to the controller. You have 3, one for iPhone, one for USB C, and then micro USB. You have spare propellers, 16, and that's basically 2 full sets for the drone, since the drone uses 8 propellers in total. Yeah. And then you get some instructions here, and then a screwdriver plus some extra screws for the propeller. Alright, so, and for the bag, it's a nice bag. It reminds me of one of those camera bags that is well padded, and has a strap too, so you can even put a lens in here. Alright, but yeah, you can drop this and I don't think anything's gonna break unless you dropped it quite high, but yeah. Anyways, alright, so as you can see, I have everything charging at the moment. You can tell that by seeing that all the lights are blinking, well, except for these because they're fully charged, right? And when this is not plugged in, you can still check the state of charge by pressing this button, and those lights will turn on. And if they're not blinking, that means it's fully charged, and then eventually they'll turn off. Yeah, so, and obviously the controller is also charging, as you can see by the lights here, and it's plugged in via USB to the side there. That aside for now, for the battery here, like I said earlier, this is the Fly More combo, which means it comes with 3 batteries. For the basic package, you only have 1 battery in the drone, the controller, and less stuff. But you can still charge this using the USB-C cable, like this. But I'm pretty sure you have to have your your adapter and whatnot to be able to charge it. But if you're charging it like this, it's gonna take a lot longer. So yeah, that's another benefit of the Fly More combo. You can definitely charge way faster. And for the controller here, you can remove the sticks and put it here on the side. So this is basically how you would store it into the bag, right? And then I think these are aluminum. It doesn't feel like plastic. And then there's like rubber surround, so it has some nice grip on the side if you're holding it like this, and then this kind of spikes at the top here, so it definitely has good grip. Anyways, that's the control for the sticks. This is mainly for height, and then when you go left and right here, it'll actually turn the drone like this. Turn to the left, turn to the right, and then the right stick is to go forward, to go left, right, backwards. Above here you have record video and take photo, and then here will control the angle of the camera. And if you want to use it, you just unfold antenna here, and then you grab your phone, and then you grab one of these angled cables, you plug it in here, and then you shove it to the side here and extend the controller and then plug in at the bottom here, and now you're connected. Yeah, but when you're using it or flying the drone, you want this flat part basically facing the drone like this. So if it's in the air, it's like this. You don't want it to be pointing like this. Yeah, because you know I guess the radio signal is stronger when it has this surface area facing in the drone. Oh, by the way, when you're plugged in like this, it's basically charging your phone. Anyways, let's take a look at the drone. When you first look at the drone here, you might think like, oh, why is it so puny? Well, that's the whole point. It has to be less than 250 grams. Otherwise, it would have to comply with much stricter rules and regulations. But being under 250 grams, you have a little bit more freedom. But anyways, what you need to do is to unfold the arms like this. This layout is pretty common for drones, but yeah, anyways, this is what you have. And then the front, obviously you have the camera, but it's underneath this protector, so you have to remove that before you fly, because it doesn't, you can't use it because then the camera is going to be hitting in that cover. And before we take a closer look at the camera, let's just put in a battery, which is pretty easy. You just slide in like that, and this thing should lock it, and you press this button to remove it. And then once you put in the battery, you can turn it on by tapping it once and then holding it until all the 4 lights light up. Alright, so let's look at the camera here. It's more interesting when it's on, because then you can do this. So basically, the gimbal is stabilizing the camera so that even though you move it like so, it's still pointing straight. But once you're turning it, then it doesn't, because obviously when the drone needs to turn left and right, then you can't hold it, because then it can be like this as you turn, and you don't want that. So, but when it's just jittering, then you will definitely stabilize that. The whole gimbal is connected to like some rubber arm, so that the vibration can be absorbed as well. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see how that just works. Reminds me of a chicken head. But this is what it means by having a 3-axis gimbal, because there's an axis this way, and an axis that way, and then an axis this way. So yeah, and that's how it's really stable. And I'll show that in the video later on. And I don't know what's underneath here. Maybe some antenna for the GPS, but there aren't any sensors in the front here because it's a pretty basic drone. But it does have sensor at the bottom so that it can gauge how far it is off the ground. You might get kind of confused when you're hovering over water. Right, so just keeping that in mind. Unless you're quite high, then it'll probably see the water as if it's just solid ground. But close up, the waves, the reflection, being somewhat translucent, kind of mess up with the sensor. So just keep that in mind. All right, so to control the drone, you need to download and install this app. It's called the Potensic Pro, and then here you can choose which model of drone you have. I mean, 3 of them are called Atom, but this one is Atom. That's it, because you have the Atom LT and the SE, which is not this one, right? And obviously there's other ones too, Dream Pro, but anyways, let's click Atom. So you're presented with this, I guess, page, and then you can enter the device or equipment. And then yeah, now it's connected. So, but now it's just pointing at the laptop there. I'm not gonna go too much into details about the app, but yeah, you have this map here, which is nice. you can switch between the two modes, and then while you're in the map, you can plot your waypoints. There's also the compass, so that's pretty neat. And you can go back into this mode, and here is your main controls. You have your record button here, which you can also do on the side here. And here you can switch between photo and video, and then here is your quick shots, which you can only use when you're in the air and when you're not currently recording, which is kind of interesting, because then I'd like to do is record as soon as I take off, and then obviously if you want to use the quick shot, then you have to stop recording and then pick the quick shot you want to use. But yeah, I can show you some of those quick shots. And then obviously here is your kind of gallery, but I don't have the SD card right now, so right. And then here you can choose either manual mode and auto for the exposure. Obviously it'll be really tricky when you have manual, because exposure can drastically change when you're looking up the sky or the ground, or when you're turning away from the sun or looking towards the sun. So manual is going to be really hard. Then here you can see that it's currently recording at 4K 30 FPS. Exposure is at 0. Obviously you can make it darker or lighter. And then above that you have the number 94, which is the this state of charge. And then RC, that's your strength of the remote control. You have like all 4 bars because it's right there. And then beside that is your GPS or satellite count. It's showing 0 because we're indoors, and because of that it's saying that there's no GPS, but you can still take off if you want to, but you just really have to be careful. And then beside that it says I think it's optical mode, so it has to rely on the optic sensor at the bottom to figure out how high it is, as opposed to the GPS and stuff like that. And then right beside that that's the angle of the gimbal, sorry, right? So now it's at 0. But if I scroll this wheel, and you can see it's changing numbers, right? Because then it's looking at straight down, but it can also look all the way up to 20 degrees, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, and then here is your settings. It's by default it's beginner mode is on, but you can turn it off, turn your units, your speed settings, what to do when it's lost signals, and minimum return altitude. So if you're hovering at 40 and then you press home, it will rise up to the height, in this case 60, and then return home. Obviously it needs, it should go up to avoid like houses and stuff like that, but anyways, then you can do the calibration of the compass, gimbal, and then more controls here. You can change how the stick behave, you can change that, but I like how it is right now. And then you got your gimbal settings and other controls here. Then your camera settings, if you want to change the white balance and whatnot, the grid, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So overall the app is pretty straightforward to use, and I think it has pretty much everything you need. If you're just a beginner, it's more than enough. Alright, so let's check out some videos.